Why is it so difficult to communicate with the person we love the most? I mean, our logic makes perfect sense in our own minds. Why can't they understand it exactly the way that we are saying it? You would think in a day in which Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, where we're seemingly in constant communication with one another, that we would be great at communicating. But research tells us that the opposite is in fact true, that even in this day of high communication, spouses often have great difficulty communicating with one another. Of course, we have different personalities, different experiences, different things that go on in the day that can always impact, when and how and the ways that we are communicating. But a wonderful analogy that can help us in our communication is this analogy called PAC, P-A-C. P-A-C. And it's a wonderful little reference that can help us in our daily communication with our spouses. The P stands for parent. And communication is doomed when one of the spouses takes on the parenting form of communication. Now, parents are, children are in great need of their parents to be in control of them. A good parent will guide, dictate, influence, make decisions, prepare, lay out clothes for them, buy their school supplies, keep up with the shot records, take them to the doctors, get their medicines, tell them when to take things and where to go and where to stand and which classes comes next and the game day uniforms versus the practice clothes and the shoes. I mean, a good parent is in control of all of those things, and a child is in great need of a parent to exert a considerable amount of control and influence, guidance, and direction. However, if we don't take that parent hat off and we speak that way to our spouses, it doesn't come across as a mature, responsible parent caring for their child. It comes across rather as someone who is condescending, someone who is a boss, someone who is sort of a control freak, someone who's not allowing different expressions of freedoms and of opinions and of viewpoints to sort of be involved in the conversation patterns. But again, someone who's coming across as quite condescending and controlling and dictating. While that might work really well in the chaos and the complexity of the child's world, it is a terrible way to communicate with our spouse. The opposite extreme is the C in that analogy, the P-A-C, and that stands for the childlike form of communication. We've all seen those children that just get so upset, they just start pouting and they stick their little lip out and throw their little fits, and they just, they're just impossible to deal with. Or perhaps we see a teenager just flying off the handle, the drama, that often, drama kings and queens that sometimes happen when we're communicating with our teens and everything's the end of the world. Well, adults can have that childlike response as well. And whenever we are responding to our spouses in that childlike manner, communication is doomed for that as well. If any time our spouse says something to us that is remotely challenging, if it's sort of, expressing some type of conviction or some kind of struggle or disagreement or disappointment that we may have, if our first response is to sort of be a drama king or queen, is to sort of just think it's the end of the world and I just can't believe you would possibly think that or say that, or to just start sulking and pouting like a little child, we immediately shut down any possible avenue for good, responsible communication. A parenting form of communication is very controlling and condescending. A childlike form is very immature and irrational and overreacting. Both of those extremes will doom communication between spouses. But that middle analogy, the adult, the A, where we are coming together not in an adversarial role, not in an overreacting role, but we're coming together as mature adults, responsible human beings that can fully embrace the idea that neither of us have all of the answers, that both of us are going to contribute something significant in our conversation, where we're willing to listen to our spouse, we're both free to talk and share, and there can be great mutual respect and understanding, where we recognize that both of us come from the hand of God, we're both sons and daughters of God, we have strengths and abilities. We're, of course, both also fallen and fallible. We make mistakes. We have struggles. And when we are mature and responsible and reasonable adults, communicating, listening, talking, praying, dialoguing together, we can see that our communication doesn't have to be a constant struggle, but can rather be a powerful way that God can be present with us and we can communicate in healthy and holy ways. Thanks for stopping by. And if you will use those 5 good minutes, it will help you thrive in all of your communication patterns with your significant other.